Monmouth County is the model of the state in terms of good and responsible government and has been leading the way, especially during these difficult times we find ourselves in due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I thank all of you for your strong leadership in helping our residents and businesses navigate this crisis. And I'm also very proud of the work we have done in the county clerk's office, not just during the pandemic, but over the course of the past 5 years. We've launched many new initiatives to improve our outreach and our services to the people of Monmouth County, including the new and easy-to-use websites such as the comprehensive Monmouth County Votes website that includes all election information for our residents, and one of the first in the state's free elections mobile app so that voters and candidates alike could have elections information at their fingertips. And in an effort to help our young people understand and engage in the voting process, we launched the Your Vote Matters program to teach high school students about the importance and fundamentals of voting in New Jersey. None of this would have been possible without the support of a truly dedicated and hardworking staff, including my deputy clerk, Felicia Santinello, my administrative clerk, Veronica Dwyer, my assistant, Jennifer Collins, all of my administrative staff, our supervisors, and all employees who do such a phenomenal job serving the public day in and day out. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my elections office staff who diligently rose to the challenge of ever-changing election laws and state mandates, a presidential election year during a pandemic, dealing with hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots, working up to 12-hour days and on weekends, with no ability to take time off from work or work from home, regardless of the health crisis. I thank my election staff, as well as all the county election offices and employees from all divisions of my office and the county government, including buildings and grounds, the county administration, our security staff, all who pitched in to work throughout the many months to effectuate the election process. Our dedicated employees throughout all divisions of the county clerk's office did not miss a beat during the pandemic and continued to work so that our Monmouth County residents could have the services they needed. There are so many others to whom I owe a debt of gratitude. To our county administrator, Terry O'Connor, county counsel, Michael Fitzgerald, deputy administrator, Chris Marion, CFO, Craig Marshall, IT director, John Zawatsky, and the IT staff, Human Resources Department, the Office of Public Information, all providing my office with constant support and guidance when needed. And many thanks to our amazing Public Works Department, John Tobia, Bob Compton, and the Buildings and Grounds team, who are always available to assist me and my team. And to our freeholders, Arnone, Burry, Kiley, and Duraco, for your constant support and great leadership. A special and heartfelt thank you to Sheriff Golden and Director Arnone for their friendship and support inside and outside county government. I would not be standing here today without your support. And my running mates, Ross LaCitra and Lillian Burry, thank you for your partnership throughout this year. And Ross, I wish you the best of luck as you have taken your oath as a new Monmouth County Commissioner. I'm blessed with wonderful parents who supported me in every challenge I undertook. And my mom, who I know is watching these proceedings virtually because she couldn't be here for the proceedings due to the health crisis. Thank you, Mom, and I love you. To my wonderful family, my husband, Bobby, and my children, Nicholas, Grace, Holly, and Caitlin, for your constant love, support, and enthusiasm. And finally, thank you to all the many supporters and volunteers who helped make today a reality. I thank God for the many blessings He's bestowed upon me, and now for the privilege to continue to serve the residents of Monmouth County as County Clerk. May God bless all of you. God bless the County of Monmouth, and God bless America.
Being a public servant is very rewarding on many levels, but it's often met with a lot of criticism and sacrifice. Although we think of the public servant about the sacrifice, we often forget about our families. Our families who stand by us through thick and thin and often become victims of public servant being never around and doing their duty. I would like to acknowledge my family who has been by my side throughout my entire life of public service. First and foremost, my mother and father, who gave me the tenacity, the education, the love and education to become the man that I am here today. My wife, Heather, and my beautiful daughter, Gianna, and my son, Frankie, who have learned to live with the absence of their father many, many nights as I do my duty throughout this county. And my oldest brother, Charles, who I know is looking down upon me in heaven and would be so proud of me at this moment in his life. My sister, Leanne Brock, and my brother-in-law, Richie, have always been by me and support me all the way. My sister, Laura Hess, who has always encouraged me to do the right thing and be the person who I am. And my partner in crime in politics and brother, Larry Hess. Larry, we did it, brother. We're here. We made it. But you know, no public servant is capable of doing great work on their own. There is no I in that equation. I could have never made it here without the tremendous leadership of our GOP chairman and my dear friend, Sheriff Sean Golden. Where's Sheriff Golden? He walked out. He did. Tell him I said something about him. And of course, all of our county co-chairs, our county clerk, Christine Hanlon, Rob DeCastro, Sue Cohen, and my dear friend, Johnny Cantalupo, who is the person who initially got me involved in thinking about running for a county freeholder commissioner. I'd like to thank all of our municipal chairs who also helped me throughout this campaign and offered their leadership to allow me to cross the victory line with my team. Speaking of my team, I'm the luckiest candidate that I feel to have been on the ticket with two powerhouse women in politics. First, our great county clerk, Christine Hanlon. Christine, it has been an honor to walk and do the campaign trail with you. Your leadership and guidance will never be forgotten. And the fact that you won set county records of all time by over 70,000 plus votes, something amazing, truly amazing to be a part of that. And of course, my other running mate, Lillian Burry, entering into her 6th term of public service as a freeholder. Wow, Lillian, incredible. I'll do what I can to grab as much knowledge from you as I possibly can as I continue on my way as a county commissioner. Thank you for being a great running mate. And of course, Congressman Chris Smith, who I had the privilege and honor to get to know and learn what an incredible man he is over 40 years of public service. What an honor. What an honor to be associated with this guy. Last and not least, my dear friend, freeholder, commissioner, director, Tom Arnone. Tom, I tell people when I grow up and I'm going to be a big politician, I'm going to be you. You know, on the campaign trail, I looked at every closet in the GOP headquarters, and I've been looking around the county annex and Hall of Records for a closet for that clone of Tom Arnone. And I know there's got to be there somewhere, maybe not, but I can attest to right now that Tom Arnone, Sheriff Golden, and Christine Hanlon are the real people that you see at every one of these events that people often say, how is it possible that those people could be everywhere? And it is my goal as a county commissioner to follow in their footsteps. I equally look forward to working side by side with our Deputy Director, Sue Kiley, and my friend, Nick DeRocco, very much so. And of course, with all of our state legislators and our local officials. We are in historic times in this nation, and not in a good way. Our elected officials must work together to bring resolve to a troubled nation. We all play a role here, from the municipal level, county, state, and federal. I was elected to represent everyone, regardless of party affiliation, religious preference, or whatever differences you may have. I will always give 110% to the people of Monmouth County. I will be honest and fair, and I will make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone. I look forward to offering my leadership on this board and helping make Monmouth County the county that has always been known to be the best county in the state of New Jersey and the best county in the United States of America. God bless America. Thank you.
As I stand here today, beginning my second year as a member of the county governing body, I recall last year at this time taking the oath of office, and I remember being asked what I thought would be some of the most challenging and difficult challenges facing the county in 2020. And candidly, I can't remember what I said because our world changed, as we all know, early on last year. And the challenges we were confronted with by this global pandemic are not anything that we could have ever been prepared for. But I have to tell you, I am so proud of the great work that we did at the county over the last year. Faced with unprecedented challenges, unprecedented times. This is a pandemic that has stretched the limits of our public health system, have adversely impacted our local economy to a tremendous degree, stretched local resources for social services, and had such a profound impact in so many other walks of life that as a county governing body, we were really struck with how to respond. And I have to tell you, I'm so proud of the great work that we did as a county to respond to this pandemic. Very early on, we stood up a huge grant program through the great work of our county professional staff to administer over $100 million in federal grant money. These were dollars that went out to our local municipalities to help them recover from the financial difficulties imposed upon them by the pandemic. Dollars that went to our small businesses to help them keep their doors open, meet payroll, and quite frankly, keep the lights on. Our small businesses have been devastated by the pandemic, we know that. Nonprofit organizations to help them to continue to deliver services. Educational institutions to help them to continue to deal with all the adverse impacts visited by the pandemic. And of course, all those great organizations that serve our special needs populations. In addition to that, we stood up testing sites, we stood up vaccination sites, and not to mention during all this administered through the great work of our county clerk and our other elections officials, an all mail-in ballot election for the first time in history in a presidential year with massive turnout, and did it with, not with ease at all, but with an amazing level of dexterity and efficiency. And I'm just so proud of all the work that we've done throughout the county, clerk's office, elections officials, Terry O'Connor, our great administrator, and all her staff from top to bottom, doing amazing work in delivering services during truly unprecedented and difficult times. So as we turn the page to 2021, we're not done with this pandemic. We know we're back in the throes of it, and we're going to continue to do what's needed in order to mount all the challenges and clear all the hurdles. And at the end of the day, I can be assured that we're going to be standing here next year and be able to say that we once again delivered all the essential services to the county residents that needed to be delivered. We invested in our infrastructure. We administered top-notch educational institutions. We supported our law enforcement, and we honored our veterans. These are things we do in Monmouth County day in, day out. They're at the heart of what we do, and it's what makes our county great. I want to thank our director and our deputy director, Tom and Sue, for their great leadership. They were really the ones that took the bull by the horns this year with the COVID and really led our county through some amazing ideas and amazing programs to help us hurdle all the challenges. So I want to thank them for their great work. I'm just proud to be on the team and so happy that I could be supportive and be part of the team in helping to put these programs together. I want to congratulate Christine and Ross and Lillian on their great election victory this year. I know when the calendar turned to election season, we all kind of looked at each other and said, how do you do an election during a pandemic? But throughout it all, they earned the respect and the support of the voters. They earned it. They earned it by showing a tremendous amount of leadership throughout their careers. They earned it by demonstrating a commitment to public service that's unparalleled. And so I very much want to congratulate them on their efforts and to thank them for their great leadership and all our teamwork. I also want to thank our great Sheriff, Sean Golden, who, again, during very difficult times, was able to lead our public safety efforts at the county This is not something that you can draw up on a chalkboard. And so from a law enforcement perspective, it's very difficult to continue to protect the public safety during a time like this. And the sheriff and his staff, as usual, did a tremendous job protecting our county. We appreciate that. And then finally, I just want to thank my family for all their great support. I always end with my family because, quite frankly, this is why I'm involved in public service, because I want to make a great community for my family and by extension, all the families throughout our county. And so I want to thank them for their unwavering support, my wife, Carrie, and my 3 daughters, and for their love and support. I certainly would not be here without them. And that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It is traditional at this time to reflect on past accomplishments. I could be happy to recall things like the final completion of the expansion of Route 34 and 537 intersection that began when we were all many years younger, and the beginning of the development of Soldier On housing project to provide shelter for veterans in need. And I must not overlook securing buildings 23 and 56 on Fort Hancock, future facilities for the Marine Academy. But there is one thing that overwhelms all other considerations by governments at every level. That is the coronavirus pandemic and the devastation it's brought to our world, nation, state, and county. With case totals rising towards 30,000 and deaths numbering to 1,000, the cold statistics weigh heavily on us all. And while the arrival of vaccines bring the promise of an end on the horizon, the path to it is a long and still difficult one. At every level, there is a role for government to play. That is what I want to talk about now. As with every great undertaking, we must begin with a good plan in hand. In Monmouth County, we have just that. The Monmouth County Master Plan contains a number of elements, including ones devoted to sustainability and resiliency. It is the responsibility of the Planning Board and the Department of Planning and Economic Development to maintain and periodically replace the existing version with a new one. The schedule we have adopted calls for this to be done as the data from each successive decade. The U.S. Census becomes available, which will happen over the next 2 or so years. The development process includes a number of public meetings on a full range of topics to ensure public participation in shaping the future of the county. At this time, as the member of this board, who has had the privilege to serve on the planning board for almost 20 years, I am going to propose to the members of the board that we use this comprehensive planning process as a framework in which to plan for the restoration of our Monmouth County community and economy. As painful as it is, we can count on the number of lives that are lost, but it's far more difficult to add up the number of lives that are disrupted and crippled and the livelihoods that are lost and ruined. We can't yet know how many people and businesses will be lost before this is over, or which parts of the social and economic fabric of the county will be left in need of the most urgent repair. What we can do is to begin to marshal our collective resources to begin to restore that fabric. Among other things, the master plan is a collection of resources that are available to support each element of the plan. I'm proposing that as a prelude to the beginning of the master plan process, the Planning Board establish a restoration roundtable consisting of representatives of every aspect of county life to hear what they need and help guide what we plan for. This will be a way of creating a common understanding of the resources contained in the master plan while identifying additional resources that we can seek to find and add. The most optimistic assessments expect that it will take most of this year to spread the vaccines completely throughout the population, and then it'll take more time for all the consequences of the pandemic to be identified. and for a restoration to be accomplished. Having just been elected to a new 3-year term, I am prepared to commit myself to making the restoration of Monmouth County my highest priority for this entire term. My experience as both a government official and a business owner particularly qualify me for this mission. Monmouth County has enormous resources of every kind, including human resources. I'll draw upon everyone that I can to play a part in getting this done. One of our greatest advantages is having the finest professional planning staff anywhere that produced our current award-winning master plan entirely within our own resources. With government providing the planning and working closely with members of the Restoration Roundtable, I am convinced we can bring Monmouth County back as a stronger, more sustainable, and resilient place for people to work, play, visit, and call home. There will be a place in this process for everyone here, and I believe that working together, there isn't anything we can't do.
First and foremost, I want to thank my partners, and they were here today swearing me in and holding the Bible. It's Christine Hanlon and Sean Golden. We worked tirelessly to try to make this a great county, along with my great Freeholder Board team. And I want to thank Deputy Director Sue Kiley, Nick DeRocco, Freeholder Barry, and now a good friend, Ross Citra. Thank you. I want to thank someone very, very personal. On March 9th, we got word that we had our first case of COVID-19 here in Monmouth County. And that was in Red Bank. And quite frankly, I didn't know what to do, to be honest with you. But all I knew was that we were having a press conference, one of 28 press conferences that we held this year. With that being said, I had somebody to guide me through this period of time and stand by me and tell me when she thought I was right, thought maybe we can make a change, and let's talk. That was our administrator, Terry O'Connor. I want to thank you. We have, since March 9th, and the residents of Monmouth County should know this, Terry and myself have not missed a day's work since March 9th. We have been in the office. We have worked tirelessly. I'm sure we made some mistakes, but it wasn't because we didn't care. It was because we wanted to do the best job for Monmouth County. So Terry, I want to thank you. I want to thank Mike Fitzgerald. I want to thank Chris Marion. I want to thank all the people, and I know I'm forgetting many people here. I want to thank Reverend Judge Oxley, Judge Thornton, for being always here. Marion, for putting up with us here, which is probably the most difficult thing to deal with. You know, we made some decisions here, and we put a bubble around Monmouth County, and I think that's why Monmouth County was so successful this year. And that bubble was to keep everything here in Monmouth County. That's exactly. When we received that $108 million, and imagine receiving $108 million, that is a lot. And you would think that that's going to be around for a lifetime. It was not. And that was only because there were so many things that people needed. Municipalities. We held conference calls every week with 53 mayors. Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you were, we worked together as a team. And that's why Monmouth County stood where it was. And we'll continue to do that. We met regularly with our chambers to make sure they got the word out for our business climate. We met regularly with the arts community. We met regularly with the people that needed our help. We put out $35 million into the pockets of our businesses this year. We put $25 million into the businesses to the municipalities to reimburse them for their need so it wasn't impacted with the residents. I refuse to give any of that money back to the state of New Jersey. No disrespect to our legislators here. That money was made for Monmouth County, and it was going to stay in Monmouth County. And it's going to stay in Monmouth County because it's going to best fit the needs of Monmouth County residents. We'll work now on the vaccine. We'll continue the testing as long as the testing is needed. We balanced our money properly. We made sure we're safe through the rest of the remainder of this pandemic, hopefully sooner than later. We'll continue to start the vaccines. I know that one question, I think I owe it to the resident that asked that question. The testing sites here in Monmouth County will continue to go. This week, just for an example, today we were in Neptune, tomorrow we'll be in Long Branch. We'll continue to do that, and I have to believe, and correct me if I'm wrong for the resident, and please feel free to. I don't think it was a testing site that you went of Monmouth County said it took that long to receive the results, because our results are coming back in less than 3 days. So if there's anything I can help you with, please feel free to reach my office and talk to my assistant, Lauren, which I want to thank you, Lauren, because besides Marion, you're second that has to put up with me, and I know that's very difficult, so thank you. We'll continue the vaccine, but I want it to be clear here, because that's going to be our job for the remainder of this 2020 is over and into 2021. We could only control what we're given, and we are only given 500 vaccines at a time. I want to thank Sheriff Golden for standing by my side at the press conference and petitioning to the governor that our police officers, our law enforcement officers, should be part of 1A, and he made that decision afterwards, and it was the right decision. And I want to thank you, Sheriff, for standing by my side on that. And I will tell you this, we have many things to talk about. Work did not stop here in Monmouth County, but we're going to try something a little different, so at a later date. I'm going to announce the first State of the County coming probably by the end of January, where we're going to put together a forum that we have a whole detailed plan of what we will be doing and accomplishing in 2021. Sukali and myself as Deputy Director will work on it along with the rest of the Freeholder Board, and we'll come out there and give the information and put that information out. But I want everybody to be clear here. It's a team effort here in Monmouth County. And you know, there's one individual that gets, two individuals that get passed by a little. And, but they do a lot of work behind the scenes. And it's a gentleman, and I know he just walked across there. During this period of time, we had to sanitize buildings. We had to set up new venues. We had to change venues. We had to be very creative. And it's a gentleman back there, Bob Compton. And Bob, I want to thank you and your staff for all the work that you've done during this year. I want to thank Trish, and I know you hear Trish. I want to thank you because we put out roughly 389 press releases this year, 300% increase in what we normally do. And it wasn't myself putting those out. It was public information putting those out. So I want to thank you. So in closing, I hope that myself and the board here did the best we possibly could for you. A lot of it was on the cuff. I can tell you that. A lot of it was a gamble. A lot of it was a risk. But the one thing it wasn't was where it was the best for Monmouth County. We'll continue to work hard for you, tirelessly for you, and know that we're there if you ever need us. Thank you. Have a happy new year and be safe. And God bless America.